Two Prose Bros are born, chosen to watch every episode of Buffy and tell you what they think about them. This is the Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale.
Welcome to the Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale.
Visiting Sunnydale.
Season 1, Episode 2, The Harvest.
The Harvest.
Thank you, Hype Man.
You're welcome.
Eddie Cruz.
I love hyping some stuff. I just want to get a big clock, and then I want to start a new podcast called...
The Dueling Hype Men, where just hype men go back and forth.
Flavor Flav! Eddie Cruz is Flavor Flav in Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
He's the best hype man ever.
Yeah.
Good episode, kind of. Not really. I'd say that part 2 of Welcome to the Hellmouth, created and written by Joss Whedon, was not as strong as part 1.
Yeah, definitely a little bit weaker.
A little bit. I knew you'd come back and throw this in my face.
Yeah.
As Xander says. The writing, not as strong. The acting, not as strong. Essentially, everything was weaker, in my opinion, in this episode.
So I have a question about that. Eddie is talking about or referencing the fact that Xander says that to Buffy.
Buffy goes, you can't come with me slaying. You're not the Slayer, or I'm the Slayer. And he goes, I knew you'd come back and throw that in my face. For no apparent reason.
And how long have they known each other at this point? Hasn't it been like 2, maybe 3 days?
And does he even understand what a Slayer really is?
Seemed to,
did he
to
Google
get
it? Is it on Google? Was there Google yet? No.
That last episode, the Welcome to the Hellmouth episode, he seemed to get it immediately.
He got that shit down.
Vampires.
He understood slaying. He understood vampires. He understood shark monsters with shark heads. Well, everything.
The vampires don't know, but he seems to know. He's out. Slayer, cool. Got it. Don't throw that shit in my face.
God, how dare you throw that shit in my face? I just want to bang you, Buffy. Do you think they did a good job, like, showing how much Xander wants to be with Buffy in this episode, in the first episode?
Oh, yeah. I think that's very clear, and they have way better chemistry than Angel and Buffy.
Oh, absolutely. That's also because Angel's a gigantic douchebag who doesn't understand his character at this point and says everything with a smirk and a wink.
He doesn't. That's fucking terrible.
It's horrible, man. And his jacket's velvet. Like, I do not understand how he got a spin-off show based on that performance. It's on par with Joey from Friends.
On that one, no, but...
No, I take that back. Joey was more likable on Friends.
He was.
Yeah, I fucking hate Friends.
So, Eddie, do you wanna tell us what the fuck this episode was about?
Well, it starts out with a big butterface of a man who has a beautiful body and just this disgusting face. On top of Buffy, she touches a cross that Angel gave her because their romantic relationship has gotten to that point.
So it immediately follows the last episode.
It's like, to be continued, and it continues. So after that, you get a little bit more exposition. They go back. They explain why they're not going to call the cops, which is basically they only come with guns, and that's ridiculous because they'd also have batons, and batons are made out of wood normally. So, but whatever.
Boom.
Boom. Mic dropped. So the whole thing is the Master needs a vessel in order to... Okay, let me go back. In the first episode, the Master is born because the big butterface of a man, Luke, comes out and does some kind of spell. The Master comes out of blood and is trapped in a force field. In order to get out of this force field, he needs to assign a vessel. That vessel needs to go and drink enough blood to break the force field somehow magically and release the Master from his confines and allow him to walk the earth again and bring the destruction of humankind. So he appoints Luke to be the vessel. Luke goes to the Bronze and starts feeding on high school kids that are hanging out in a nightclub that serves alcohol. Bothers me. Anyway, continue on. Buffy kills Luke, thwarts his plans, and the episode ends.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Great job.
Thanks, man. What do you think about this episode? I think, gave away my opinion, which is the writing's horrible.
I think there were some rough points earlier on in the episode. I loved the idea of the Master coming into power by having the Master Junior, Luke.
I think that should be his name.
The Master Junior.
Yeah.
Feed off of, again, these high school students who, again, go into this nightclub. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Totally. We'll get to why
later.
this is fucking weird. But I love that idea. However, there's a lot of stuff early on that's fucking wonky.
It seems like he had less time to do exposition in this episode. And because of that, the writing is a lot of unnatural exposition, unnatural talking about what's going on between the Scoobies. When I say the Scoobies, meaning Giles, Willow, Buffy, and Xander.
Yeah, they get established as the Scoobies later on.
Later on.
You know, it's that idea of the Scooby game.
Absolutely.
Gang solving mysteries.
Essentially, I think that he had to establish a lot of other things in this episode that weren't established in the first half of Welcome to the Hellmouth, and it makes the writing really wonky.
Yeah, it's weird. One aspect that I thought the writing was good at, I loved not only the writing, but the dynamic and the chemistry between Buffy and her mom.
I think that was always there, but I think that that's definitely showing more of the fact that Sarah Michelle Gellar and the character of Joyce is, I don't know who actually played her, they're just good actors compared to other people on this show.
Well, Angel.
Also, the surfer dude who pokes out his head after Cordelia goes, "Oh my God, Buffy's crazy," blah, blah, blah. And he goes like, "What, bruh? Oh my God, bruh." And he just like next to the computer. Oh my God, that guy, you know what? That was the best actor on the show.
I love that dude.
Yeah, I love him in a bad way.
It seems like that was reminiscent of the pilot. You know, how they want to do like, oh, this is this click and that click and that click.
Yeah, the
Just
dirty
the,
girls.
like, what?
He was definitely a dirty girl. That guy was definitely my favorite dirty
That was
girl.
fucking awesome.
He was awesome. He was great. The unsung heroes of the first season of Buffy. I'm gonna look up and see who that guy is and see if he's worked on anything else.
I think he's dead.
He died. He did with River Phoenix, at Club Jaguar. I knew it.
So Buffy and her mom. What I really liked about that scene, I like this one line that is, it's like a pinnacle for the rest of the season. I feel, and Buffy in general. Everything is the end of the world to a 16-year-old girl.
Actually, that is a great line. And there are gems. I mean, Joss Whedon obviously can write really well.
Motherfucker did Avengers.
I knew you'd come back and throw that in my face.
I am constantly throwing the fact that Joss Whedon did both Avengers movie in your face.
You are. It's getting old. I would say that Joss Whedon is more of a TV writer. He, in my opinion, I like his TV stuff more.
Well, he has more time to flesh out characters.
Mind you, if I met him, I would cream my pants, fall to my knees, and start blowing him. So, I mean, I really do think highly.
You might do that, or you might start talking shit about how he doesn't know how bars work.
Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, number one, either Buffy's drinking underage, or I just don't understand. Like this, they're all in high school. They go to this bar, and outside of the bar, it says you must be 21 to be served, which I understand, but none of them have black X's on their hands, which means that they can probably all drink or are taking alcohol into the bar. I've never been to a bar that's under 21 like that. And not to mention, if there are 2 more seasons of them being in high school, then they're not even 18, which means that even a bar that serves people, that allows people to go in that are under 21, usually have you must be 18 or older to come in. This is just not real.
Well, of course. But if I were a bouncer in Sunnydale.
You'd be ripped like that guy, right?
Oh, dude.
Oh, booze, beefcakes.
If I were a bouncer in Sunnydale, I would be more concerned about the vampires getting in to the bronze than underage kids, which is fucking funny because that does not happen. He asks for their ID and they just kind of storm in, and he's the first motherfucker to die.
Yeah.
So I think...
In a loving embrace, too.
Yeah. I think one of the motifs of this episode is do a bad job as a bouncer and you will fucking die in the bar you work at.
Yeah, I agree. And it has nothing to do with any kind of bar fight or kicking anybody out. It's just being a bouncer in Sunnydale is a bad job. Also, can you think of, well, I mean, this is down the line, but let's keep this idea in mind for future episodes. Will there be any other bouncers at the Bronze from now on? I don't really remember there being any other bouncers. However, none of them were really integral into the plot. So we'll find out in future episodes.
People just seem to go into the Bronze. I guess once they
you're
realize...
gonna keep count of how many how many people die on this show. I'm gonna keep track on the Bronze. I'm gonna tell you what's up with the Bronze and be like, is this realistic? Is this a business model that would live and survive in today's world?
You're like, oh, that shot count was way off. They didn't.
This is our bar rescue. And you know what I'm going to say? I predict not. I predict the Bronze would not be a good business model to go into.
Well, any bar with vampires, I would say no.
Yeah, right?
Although maybe not, because it seems like people will get laid. And I bring that up because Cordelia, later in the episode, seems totally into Jesse once he is a vampire and has no soul. So what is that saying in this episode?
That having no soul brings you confidence, bro.
Damn, that's fucking terrible.
Well, it's kind of true, right? Like, the most confident men are the ones that are, like, least involved intellectually in how they act.
Or, can I argue this? That the typical Beverly Hills-ish California teenager already has no soul, so she would be attracted to a monster with no soul.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why are the vampires better looking after they become vampires if they can no longer see their reflections?
You said this earlier. Hair gel.
Yeah, it's like, I just bit you. Hey, bro, here's some LA Looks. Like, just a big tub of, like, $3 Walmart hair gel.
I think we'll get into this more once we see more Angel, but it seems like these vampires have not only an intuitive nature idea of martial arts, but they understand how to style hair.
It's like you get bitten by a vampire, they hand you a Nickelback album, a tub of hair gel, and like a shitty jacket.
By the way, super pre-Nickelback.
Yeah, however, they still had Nickelback albums to hand out, because Nickelback is so evil. It's like retroactively alive.
It's timelessly
and also
evil.
yeah, exactly. And we're living in the world of fiction in the show, so we'll just go ahead and say that Nickelback and demons exist in the same playing field.
And there's time travel in Buffy, right?
Only in that one episode, that one where they way down the line.
We're gonna figure that shit out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only because he makes a deal with some Nickelback fan.
So one line I liked a lot was Boca del Infierno.
Oh, Boca del Infierno.
Yeah, that was
Boca Burger del Infierno.
Hellmouth.
Hellmouth,
guys.
La Boca del Infierno. Yeah, Giles killing it with the Spanish. The Spanish.
But he says it with such confidence.
Yeah, the Boca del Infierno. Yeah, it's great. So this is the first episode to establish that they are on the Hellmouth. The Hellmouth is under a high school in California. And I really do like that fact. Other than that, though, can you tell me anything else that's kind of laid out in this episode that continues on during the series? Because in the first episode, we see a lot of that, in my opinion. In this episode, it's very light. This is a lot more popcorny, like not very much substance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. The Hellmouth, written on the dry erase board, was
You
super
mean
important.
Boca del Infierno?
Yes. No, they kind of go over more of the same stuff, like how to kill a vampire. You can decapitate him with a symbol.
Yeah. How hard do you think she had to throw that symbol to decapitate that vampire?
I'm gonna ask you a question before I answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a splash symbol? Is it a crash? Or is it a ride?
That looked like a crash. Am I right?
It looked crashy. Could be a
All
ride.
right. So a ride is usually a little bit bigger,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And then a crash is usually mid-size, and then you have a splash that are usually smaller, right?
So to answer that, you have to throw it pretty fucking hard.
Or I would guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to figure out. I've played drums since I was 12 years old. Never tried to decapitate anybody.
No. I've been friends with people that have played drums since they were 12
Have
years
they
old.
had to have?
And I've never thrown a cymbal. Number one, cymbals are pretty fucking expensive.
Yeah.
I would not want vampire blood. Well, I guess. Let me ask you this. All right. So vampires have blood in them. You throw the symbol, it goes through their neck. Is there blood on the symbol, or does it evaporate with the vampire?
I would say it gets dusted, which
It gets dusted, so the every particle of the vampire becomes dust.
yes, which is
All right.
another major thing that happens in this episode. You see the first dusting.
Yes, the first two, because you did point out the first one is Jesse, but they don't really give you a full like ground contact dust hitting, and then you do see Luke, Mini Master. Is it Mini Master or the Master Mini?
I was saying Master Junior, but
Master-
Mini Master is cool too.
I like the alliteration.
Yeah.
So the Mini Master gets dusted and actually hits the ground, poof, and then you see a little bit of dust hit the ground too. I would say that was definitely the first full dusting, and it was pathetic. As far as the CGI goes for that dusting, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, so dusting, for those of you who don't know, which, I mean, if you're listening to us, you probably should. A vampire gets staked, and
Turns to
they
dust.
turn to dust.
Yeah. Because
And it's-
ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right, bro?
It's a pretty crappy CGI thing, but it's known in the Buffy universe.
Yeah, absolutely. Dusting becomes a big, integral part of killing vampires. And there is definitely an evolution to dusting on the show, which is the same budget being able to make dusting look better over seasons and just technology getting better, I'm guessing. I will definitely say that they are getting better at creating their locations compared to the pilot right now. So we have the bronze, we have school, we have Buffy's house, and the library.
Yes.
So in the pilot, it seemed like they were on
The
a
graveyard.
stage. And the graveyard. And I guess a mausoleum inside of the graveyard. That's another. I mean, I guess.
Yeah,
they
which
just
could be like
added-
fucking anywhere.
yeah, just anything with outside.
Yeah. Did you know that the same school that Buffy goes to is the same school the kids at 90210 go to?
Yeah, I heard about that. It's filmed in Van Nuys. Van Nuys is where they film most porn. It's like the cheapest place to film shows or movies.
So-
because it's the cheapest sets. That's the porn district of Hollywood.
So there's probably some porn being filmed.
And
Like,
Angel's just fucking. David Boreanaz is on that fucking set every day.
he accidentally showed up to Buffy. He was going to be on a gay porn set.
No, I mean he was at the gay porn set.
He just got
He
confused
got
at where-
Confused.
Okay.
Took his velvet jacket and walked onto the Buffy set. Boom. David Boreanaz gets his own show.
He's basically as sleazy as like a porn dude. Like, oh,
Just like comes in like, hey, 16-year-old girl, I'm 250. You want to fuck?
he follows a random teenager into a crypt.
Yeah.
That's
After apparently having stalked her for quite a while, if you follow the mythology of the show, and decides that this 16-year-old girl is worth him not eating rats anymore.
yes.
Yeah, pretty gross. Pretty gross.
I like that. Spoiler alert: Angel eats rats. So, are we gonna do our kill count?
Yes, there was a little bit of controversy, and we should clear some stuff up before
Yes.
we actually get to the kill count.
Okay.
So there was one thing that I think is a kill, and you disagreed with me on, which is the master goes something about you disappointed me to a vampire, and then goes, I got your eye.
It's like,
or
there's
something like
something
that.
in your eye.
And then he sticks his finger, I suppose, in his eye.
Well, yeah, that's off screen.
Off screen. This character never comes back about, and poking a vampire in the eye, as you said, does not kill a vampire.
It's not the Three Stooges.
So this technically shouldn't be a kill, but he never shows up again, so I think he should be counted as a kill.
I don't know. I would say the established rules so far dictate otherwise.
Okay. And we are saying that off-screen kills don't count unless the killer is on screen and the victim is off screen. That counts, but off screen kills. So if Xander comes back and goes, oh, we killed that vampire, that doesn't count.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like Jesse got killed within the episode. We never saw it, so I'm not counting that. We're not.
However, are you counting vampire Jesse being killed? Because he did get shown getting killed.
I am.
All right, cool.
Yes. So
his original death and being turned into a vampire does not count, but his death as a vampire does count.
Boom. I'm sure tons of people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have to set the parameters now, right? We have a lot of podcasting to do. From here on
Yeah.
out.
Good job. We did a good job.
We did a good job.
So, total vampire kills, 5. Buffy was responsible for 4 of them.
Nice.
The only other one was that random girl who bumped into Jesse and Xander killed him. Which, what a weak fucking vampire.
And also, Xander is told many times that Jesse is no longer Jesse and still hesitates in killing him twice.
Yeah, motherfucker doesn't learn. He knows what a slayer is, doesn't learn.
He's like, you know what, Geoff? I knew you'd throw that in his face.
I did. So, 2 human kills.
Who are those?
Bouncer. Random girl.
Oh, that look like Renee Zellweger.
Yeah.
Yeah, like young Renee Zellweger, not post-face job Renee Zellweger.
Yeah. So total kills, 7. Buffy's currently the biggest killer in the show. She is a slayer.
Well, of course, she's a slayer.
Yeah.
I mean, her name's a Slayer, not the Petter.
But at this point, I don't understand that as well as Xander does.
No.
And it sucks when you throw that in my face.